Good day, everyone. I've decided to do another recipe in the kitchen today. So come with me and we're going to wash our hands and make some lemon pie today. Okay, I washed my hands and I've mixed together my ingredients for the crust. I put in some flour, some salt, some butter, and a little water. And I mixed up some pie dough, pie crust dough. So this is what I'm making, a nice lemon pie. I like to make something special on the weekend. So now I'm going to get my rolling pin and I'm going to flatten the crust. All right, so I put my camera up high so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to try to form a nice soft ball with my crust, but it's kind of breaking apart. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more water, not too much, just a few drops. I like making lemon pie. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm going to have my mother come and eat with me tomorrow, and she loves lemon pie too. All right, so I like that. Now I'm just going to set that aside, and I'm going to use a little wax paper. Rip. Rip. Not everybody rolls out their pie crust like this, but it's the way I like to do it. So I'm going to cover this. That way when I roll it out with a rolling pin, it won't stick. All right, so we want to make some nice flaky pie crust. You know, it kind of builds your arm muscles making things like pie and bread. Yeah. Unfortunately, if you eat too much bread or pie, your arms will get flabby instead of nice and thin and strong. So this should only be a special treat once in a while. So this is how I roll out my crust. Now I have a pie plate here, but I don't want my crust to stick, so I'm going to spray it with a little bit of oil. All right, it's ready. So I'm not going to use this again. I will put that in the garbage. I'm going to, look, see how it sticks? I'm going to lay it gently like that. And I just carefully make it look the shape of a pie. Now I have some extra crust here. So I'm just going to get a little knife here. And you have to be careful when you handle a knife. But when you've made pies as often as me, you know how to be careful. The more you cook and the more you practice, the better you will be. All right. There. Now, when you make lemon pie, you have to cook the crust first. So I'm going to flute the edges. This little design that you make is called flute. I'm going to flute the edge. Some people will flute the edge with a fork, but I find that that usually makes my crust too thin and it makes it a little too brown. Okay, now there's something else I'm going to have to do when I'm done fluting the edge with a fork. I'm going to have to poke some holes in the bottom of my crust right here to let the air escape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that should be perfect. Okay, now I'm going to put my pie crust in my little oven over here. All right, I just have to clear some space. All right, I just put it in my toaster oven. So I'm going to close the door. I have it on convection bake 375, and I'm going to cook it for about 20 minutes. And it'll go ding ding when it's done. All right, the oven told me with a ding that my pie crust is ready. Oh, a little piece fell off. That means I get to eat it. A little hot, but those are the cook's rules. Right, so we're gonna let that pie crust cool, and now we have to come over and do something tricky. We have to break those eggs open and put the white part in the white bowl and the yellow part in the pan. Let's see how we can do that. All right, I like to use a knife. You have to be very careful. Make a little slit, and then you can see I'm moving the yellow part, called the yolk, back and forth, and as I do that, the whites of the egg drop into the bowl. There goes one. Let's see if we can do the next one. You have to do this very carefully, because if you get some of the yolk mixed up with the white, you're not going to have a very nice fluffy white topping. There's two. And here comes the third egg. Yeah, it's called separating the eggs. And if you practice and practice, you'll get the hang of it. There we go. There we go. Our 3 eggs are separated. Now, I wonder if that means you saw it upside down. I'm going to look at my recipe to see what comes next. Well, one thing I know that I need to do is clean up. So I'm going to put these eggshells down in my compost bin. It's getting full. I'll have to change it soon. And this egg carton, let's come over here and see. Let's see, does it go in the garbage? Nope. Does it go with plastics? Nope. Does it go with cardboard? Yep. All right, to make the lemon part of our lemon pie, the recipe says to add 1/3 cup of cold water. So let's go ahead and fill this up, and I'll balance it there, as I never let the water run. All right, carry this over and pour it in with the egg. Now, 1 egg broke, but these 2 egg yolks didn't break yet, so it's time for me to break them open. All right, so I'm just going to stir that up a little bit. And I already snipped the top off of the lemon powder, but it says to put that in now. So let's do that. And we're going to stir that up. All right, I finished stirring that up. Now it says to add 2 cups of hot water. So I filled this measuring cup. You can see the number 2 up there. And I stir it up one more time. And then I turn the stove on. I'm going to turn it on medium. And we're going to cook it. We'll come back in a minute and check on how it's doing. Well, you can see it's getting hot now. You can see by the steam that it's almost ready to boil. We have to wait for it to start bubbling up, and when it does, it will turn a darker yellow. And we have to count 30 seconds when that starts happening. We got to make sure we stir it often so it won't stick to the bottom. There, do you see the bubbles breaking the surface? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now we're going to take it off the hot burner, turn that burner off, and we're going to put a tablespoon of butter in there. It's still pretty hot. Let's stir that butter in. And now we have to wait 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. The recipe says we should stir it once or twice while we're waiting the 5 minutes for it to cool. Then we're going to pour it in our pie crust. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's turn that off. And it's time for us to pour the lemon pie filling in the pie crust. Yeah, this is the tricky part because one of my hands is holding the camera. So I'll have to turn my camera off for just a minute, and I'm going to use this spatula to clean out the pot. There, mission accomplished. Soon I'll have a tripod so I can operate this camera easier. All right, now we have to do something to these egg whites. This was the white part of the egg. We're going to start mixing it up. Now this is going to be loud, but it's going to make it nice and white and fluffy for the top of the pie. They look kind of yellow, but they're turning whitish. Nice, white, bubbly mix. All right, you see it's getting nice and thick. Now we have to add a little bit of sugar. And it says to add 1/4 of a cup. But all I have here is a 1/2 cup. So, my math-loving friends, 1/4 is a 1/2 of a 1/2. And you see this is about 1/2 full. So, let's pour it in and finish mixing it up. All right, look how it glistens when it's all whipped up. Now we're just going to plop that on top of the lemon. It's still plenty warm, but unlike whipped cream, this meringue likes heat. It doesn't melt. It will actually cook and keep its shape. So I want to cover all of my pie. I go around the circle and I make sure it touches the crust. And it's called lemon meringue pie. The white part is the meringue and the yellow part is the lemon. Now I like to make a pretty design. There. And now we have to cook 5 more minutes. All right, I put it in my little oven and I gotta turn it on for just about 5 or 7 minutes. All right, while that pie was getting its last few minutes of cooking, I did the dishes. And ready? Here it is, lemon pie. I can't cut it open yet because it needs to cool for a couple of hours. Well, I'm glad you joined me for making my lemon pie. See you later.